Here's a few plugins that I rate. The old Warble, use that quite a lot. I just think it's a great lo-fi plugin. It's worth checking out. Doesn't cost much money. Nothing I use does. I like Logic's inbuilt fuzzoir. That's over everything. Not everything, but it's over every album I've probably recorded, and I still use it. I still like Logic's inbuilt space designer. I like medium space indoor church setting. It's really good. You know, if you're going to spend money, spend it on good plugins. If you've got the other bits first, if you've got a really good mic, if you've got a good room, you know, I do have treatment in my room. It's what sort of treatment do I have? There's a bit of Calpol, there's a bit of paracetamol there, and no, I'm sorry, joker. If you've got a good room, you've got a good mic, and you've got a good preamp / audio interface. That's the most important thing. That and an active imagination are the most important things for you. If you're going to buy plugins and you can afford it, UAD, SSL, Softube, I don't know how to pronounce it, but Oak Sound, I always call it, Soothe and Spiff, they're good. Marg EQ's good. I still like the inbuilt tape delay within Logic Pro, really good. Some people like compressors. I've liked compressors. I didn't used to like them, but then when Wim Aldite, who used to be my producer for 9 years, the late Wim, he used to compress my sound quite a lot, putting it through different hardware, and so I do use a bit of compression, or as Dave might tell you, a lot of compression, usually through a Drama plugin rather than hardware. I don't have much, I'm just looking around me, I don't have much hardware. I tend to get a sound that I like, that I know that I can play with, then mash it up in plugins, or there might be the odd guitar pedal, but I don't have lots to call my own. And for anyone that doesn't know, what's he on about, plugins? Well, plugins are softwares that you have in your computer. So they can be cheap, they can be relatively inexpensive, but they're not of any use to anybody if they're used to hardware. But people record in the box now, so basically plugins, everything's in the box other than your mic and your audio interface or your preamp. So what else do I like? I like People. I like Coleslaw. I like I like menthol sweets at the moment. I think that's because I don't drink alcohol anymore. What am I telling you all of this? What do you need this? I haven't drunk alcohol. I haven't drunk or I haven't smoked for like 30 plus years, I think. So after a meal, it was ingrained in me that I'd have a cigarette, sort of like, and maybe a little drinky booze. But I don't do that anymore. I think instead I have Jakeman's Throat and Chest. Good for singing. Sometimes it's useful to record a sound and then run it through some old gear. Sometimes it alters the sound. I think I used an old, oh God, what would it be? An old Pioneer, maybe 4-track. This thing that weighed a ton, absolute ton. I lifted it once, and this is going back years, and it put me out of action for about 3 or 4 days. It was just ridiculous, like a massive brick. Sometimes old things like old 4-tracks, old mixers are really great for getting the sound that you want, especially when you're coming from an FM sort of ethos. um, listening to, listening to people like Bill Withers, as I mentioned. If you go back and find out which won't be easy, but if you went back and you found out what Bill Withers used, or what Fleetwood Mac or Hall and Oates or whoever in the 70s, Christopher Cross, what they used, 9 times out of 10, they've got a big record company, so they can go into a big studio. And 9 times out of 10, if you've got a good space, even if you've got good natural reverb, or you've got one in the studio, they're going to have like Newman U87s and really beautiful mics, and they don't really need to do a lot to the sound because it's just really nice, without any effects. But I come from the left field a little bit, quite lo-fi. People say I'm a bit wonky pop or trip hop, hip hop style sometimes, snip hop. So I do like messing about with sounds. But if you get a good source, so the first thing you're doing when you're tracking is you're in a space that's giving you a good sound. You're sounding good for a mic that suits you. Not an expensive one necessarily at all. One that suits your voice and makes your voice sound its best. I'm a fond believer, I would have words with myself because I can't bring them, but SE Electronics, their mics. I've got a really cheap one, 2200, what is it, A, something like that. I had that mic for years. I think I found out later Amy Winehouse used to have the same mic. It cost me about £80-90, and that just suited my voice. I even, on podcasts or live shows I've done online, it still sounded great on my voice. And I'm a big fan of the mics that they make, but there are lots of other ones. And find the one that suits your voice. Good space, mic, preamp, ability to record, so some sort of computer. The rest could be up to you, and you can take it as far as you want. The good things with tube mics is usually you can really punish them a little bit and add effects. Whereas if it's a really cheapo mic that you've bought for karaoke, adding any plug-in to that is just going to distress the sound even more.